So now we're recording. So let's just get into this. I don't know what type of perspective we're really gonna have, honestly. I'm not sure. Like, I think we're gonna be looking mostly at their side. Oh, their overlay is better than ours. Makes me sad.
3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
Okay, the first thing we can really look at is this opening right here, because every time I can't. All right. Every time we get here, we wind up just getting absolutely fucking blown up. So I want to try to look at this kind of entrance here a little bit more and figure out what's going wrong.
3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
So we can lightly see our silhouettes through the wall. Okay, so you're there. Complex, or genetic, I think, went wide on this one, if I remember correctly. And then you just went straight in. Tons of shield health because the Junkrat's been spamming for a while already. Okay, what is this swing? What is this swing, Complex? What is this swing?
I'm almost certain I hit someone.
Someone
went low.
back. Can I? Okay, I can. Okay, there we go. This is where I want
It
it.
had to be Tracer, but still not a good swing.
Okay, so this is the Tracer on the left. So you swing towards the Tracer, which is not your responsibility. And then you swing and then shield with the bubble. And this is one of those things that, like, you have to try to stop doing, because if you don't shield here and you just get the bubble and you trust that you're going to get the bubble, then your shield health starts regenning, and by the time your bubble goes down, you have, like, probably an extra 250 to 500 shield health to kind of keep you alive. So bubble goes down at the same time as your shield, and now you have absolutely no defensive resources. And because you weren't aware of the fact that your shield was low and you, like, the bubble was already on you, like, there's no more defensive resources after that except your health pool. You just get absolutely blown up. Now you have like 5 health and everybody's scared, which is fair. Which is fair. I think they all should be scared. And the Tracer just burns the shit out of you. So I think the first thing that we have to be aware of in with this is, one, the fact that you swing at the Tracer. There's some people who are just not your responsibility, right? A Tracer is not your responsibility unless it's cleanup phase. Early fight, you just have to ignore Tracers. Essentially what's going to happen is, as Reinhardt, you can't do anything against Tracer, Ball, Monkey unless he fucks up, Diva unless she fucks up. Like, the really fast characters, like, until they, like, absolutely fuck up, you can't do anything about them. In, like, startup phase, you have to just ignore them until it's cleanup phase. And then the other thing is, you have to be more aware of, like, when the bubble's gonna come on you, so that you just don't start, like, you don't need to shield all the time. Like, you need to have better confidence and better understanding of when genetic is going to bubble you and when's a good bubble time, so that you can just, like, keep your shield down. I was hoping that they were going to have casters, because casters are always fun, but they just have observers. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm not gonna lie. My brain, like, fizzled out there. Alright. So at this point, Frosty needs to have gotten in their back line. Like, Frosty is very clearly on the left side here, and like, or at least she has a path on the left side here that gets her right into the back of the enemies. So like, she just needs to be like doing something right now in the first place, right? In the second place, I think this is again a little bit of a matter of kind of like bubble timing. So like, you take that first hit and then you back up because you take a bunch of damage, but the bubble goes on you as you're backing up, and we kind of want the bubble to be on you like when you're still in there. Like, we want you to be able to stay in there so that you can then shield to back up, and Genetic can stand in front of you with the bubble, like his personal bubble, in order to like help escort you out and get more charge and stuff like that. But I would also say that the lack of kind of like Frosty being able to do anything there just makes it a little bit of a 5v6, and they're able to just roll over us. Because they have no extra like pressure on them or anything like that, so she's kind of just a little bit too scared right now to do anything, it looks like.
Get ready for a shot.
I think we break this. Yeah. So this is generally what happens on these maps, is that if you win the first fight, especially if you win the first two fights, like, you just get out-ulted. Or you out-ult the enemy team, rather. So they won the first two fights, their ult economy is just better, they use grab. This is honestly going to be such a light VOD review, because I haven't done a VOD review like this in a long time, and I really hate it. But right there, the fight before this, it's just they have grab, you don't have anything to counter it, because you're not running any real defensive ultimates, and they're able to just run you over even though you use Nano. Because grab is just better than Nano at its peak, you know?
Back in the fight.
It's a good shatter. So I'm not sure exactly why you back off here, Complex, and I'm going to be looking a lot at you, because honestly you're the one I can see clearest right now, and I think there's a lot of like core things that we need to start working on with you when it comes to just specifically like Rhine play. So one of them is going to be understanding where you can take space and like where your opportunities are, right? So you lay in this nice shatter here, good shatter, you get the Junkrat, you start pushing on to the Zarya, but like you just back off. Okay, fine, because she has beat on her, there's a bunch of people, not too concerned. And then you get into this situation right here, where there's a lot of space between you and the enemy Rhine, there's a lot of space between you and the enemy Zarya, and you still have kind of like two supports and not a lot of damage behind you. So sometimes as Reinhardt, you have to understand the stage of the fight you're in, but also the number of allies that you have with you and what type of allies you have with you. It looks like you might have Genetic here with you, but I can't tell. I think, yeah, okay, I think that's Genetic. But essentially what you have to do here is you have to be aggressive, because you're in late fight, you're in chaotic mode, and you have two supports who are focused on pocketing you, because Genetic has his own healing resource right now, right? So because you have all this space, and because you have all these resources that are essentially being dedicated to you, you not being aggressive means that you're wasting the resources that are being put into you. And what happens is you give the enemies the ability to actually collapse on you a little bit easier, because you're not being aggressive, because then you're not demanding resources from them to cope with you. So like pushing into the Reinhardt, or like actively making a play to try to do something even after the shatter, is still going to be really important. The amount of space and the amount of backing you do, I think, just makes it too easy for the enemies to just push into you.
Get ready for a shot.
Yeah, we don't get as much value out of this fight as they do, because they get two grabs off before we're even able to get like a significant ult combo off. Like we don't have EMP yet. We're just getting to high noon for the first time. This is our first shatter. I think we Valked already and maybe coalesced already, and then we swapped off the Zard. So like they're just getting more value in these fights, which is letting them get these high impact ultimates easier than we can.
Get ready for a shock.
The tire does clean that fight up pretty well though. I'm gonna lower this a little bit more because it's kind of loud still for me. I don't know if that also lowers it for you guys. I imagine it would. Oh my god. Okay, so in this situation, we're running a Lucio. We really should just be speeding in there. I don't think it's that complicated to break turrets. You know, we should really have our off support, like our Lucio and Genetic, the off tank should really be breaking the turrets along with like the DPS occasionally. And as long as they're doing that, you should have really no problem speeding into this composition and claiming space on the point. The fact that we play this poke here means that Complex is just getting no value because he can't poke in this situation. And he's also not able to properly shield because of the Symmetra. The Symmetra is just going to farm his shield and out DPS like everybody in the entire composition simply by Complex not being able to get in and get actual swinging value onto the team. So here we need to make a more aggressive decision to actually get on the Symmetra, because the Symmetra is what's going to wind up winning them this fight in the long run. The double beam is going to be especially hard to negate, but at the end of the day, if we can't get in there and actually put pressure onto the Symmetra, she's just going to carry out the longer fights. Then they push pretty well. That's a good hook. Okay, so we swap onto Monkey to try to get more value. I don't think the Monkey swap is bad because it's a little bit easier for you to get in and out of the fight. The only thing is your target focus. Like, it has to be the Symmetra. You have to kill the Symmetra in this composition. You have no other option. The Echo would be a great second kill, but the Echo doesn't get nearly as much value as Symmetra does in maps like these. There's gonna be some maps, like if they played fucking Symmetra on Eichenwald, like, you don't have to fucking focus down the Symmetra. There's too much space on that map. Just go Widow and click her. But like on maps like these where it's very close in and clustered, like, you have to kill the Symmetra. She is a primary target. It's like a Bastion. If you let a Bastion survive long in a fight, he's just going to get too much value. So you have to make sure you focus him down early, focus him down as a team. That's the same thing that you have to do with Symmetra. And this is really why afterwards, for anybody who is hanging out, I was saying I think over the break we're really going to be focusing on, you know, how to play dive and stuff like that, because we need to have a little bit more like ability to understand when it's time to go in and invest and when it's time to kind of like just chill and wait, because there's a lot of times where there's opportunities or targets we need to focus down that we just don't really grasp it. And that's really the whole purpose and concept of dive, is that you want to be focusing on like a singular target, burning them down, and then moving on to the next priority target. And right here, that's what we don't get rid of the Symmetra, and it doesn't open up, and it keeps us pressured down, because if we don't focus down the Symmetra, then she gets the beam charge off the shield, her turrets keep getting placed up, and they poke down the supports, and then we just have a hard time pushing in, etc, etc, etc. I will say it again, one more time, just for emphasis. We have to kill the fucking Symmetra. We might actually wind up working on dive a little bit sooner now that I think about it, because I think so we're running Frosty on control maps, and if we're running Sombra, I think we run Sombra Winston primarily on control maps, and we run like a sort of like a hybrid dive where we have Frosty set up somewhere, call a target, and then Complex jumps in there, and then the two of them just try to burn down a singular target. But in order to do that first, we have to work on Frosty's pathing, and then we have to work on kind of like the team coordination and stuff like that, and target selection a little bit more. I like the pressure you guys kept here, but what was it? It would have been good for that pressure to be a little bit like, so like you guys call, what happens a lot of times is you guys call that we can be aggressive, and then not everybody is aggressive immediately. It's like half aggressive for a second, and then like not aggressive, and then unsure where to be aggressive. So we have to work on everybody being cohesively aggressive, and like actually pushing in. Like somebody calls, okay, we can be aggressive, there's somebody right here, we can get them, go. Like you just go quickly. And if you're not able to go, then we need to work on your ability to like play the game without getting caught up in engagements you can't like leave from, because then that's a positioning problem, right? You need to be a little bit more understanding of like how mobile your character is and how easily they can get in and out of certain engagements, because like I've said before, a lot of the game is being able to kind of find value constantly, but find value constantly while not committing to any one thing until it's absolutely time to commit. Because once you commit to something, if you can't get out of it and a better opportunity shows up, then it doesn't matter, like you're trapped. Or if like you commit to something and somebody needs help somewhere, it doesn't matter, you're trapped. One of the examples that I kind of like in my mind works the best is kind of like a Tracer 1v1. In a Tracer 1v1, especially if you're on the flank, you don't want to use up all of your resources investing in the Tracer unless you can absolutely get the kill. Because at the end of the day, at any moment as Tracer, you have about 5 other responsibilities that may need to be fulfilled besides just putting the Tracer in check. And this could be, you know, peeling, or putting pressure on a specific type of enemy, or putting pressure on pointer, controlling health packs or something like that. So if you use all your resources trying to kill the Tracer, when something else comes up that you need to do, you won't have any resources to do it. So how much pressure can you put on the enemy Tracer, keep her in check, or to kill her without actually full committing all of your resources? It's pretty important. So this can be, you know, like carried over onto a bunch of other heroes, and that's why I say for Complex, like, don't jump straight into the enemies, because as Winston, you can put pressure onto the enemies without fully committing. If you jump to the high ground and zap down from above, you always have the possibility of maneuvering to another location. You always have a next step, right? But if you jump straight into the enemies, that is your only step at that point. You're in for a set amount of time. So we always want to be looking for plays that put pressure on the enemies, that get us value, ult charge, you know, space made, but don't absolutely commit us to what we're trying to do, or absolutely commit us to one singular spot or something like that. I think this is something that we'll probably have to look at in a moment by moment, hero by hero basis in certain aspects, but it is a concept that you can kind of, maybe if you're watching streamers or something like that, or if you're observing the game on a casual basis, watching your own gameplay back, you can kind of take into account, like, when I went to do this, was I fully committed? Like, did I use all my resources to do this? And if I did, was it worth it? Like, was there another thing that I probably should have been holding out for, or like something that could have gone wrong that I should have been able to be prepared for? Was there any way for me to do it better? Usually the answer is, like, you use less resources if you're able to be, like, a little bit mechanically better, but it's also a matter of positioning and game sense. That was a good hack. Alright, so let's look at this a little bit more, just real quick. So we're getting into overtime percentage. We gave up the point at some point. Why did we give up the point here? Okay, so right here, Dupe comes out. She's Sombra. Okay, Coalescence. Our Coalescence from an off angle, which is interesting because where is our team? Where is our team as a whole? I think our team is in the courtyard. So why are we coalescing from coast? Yeah, if we're all in courtyard, I don't know why we're coalescing from coast. Like, the Moira coalescence should be cleaving both the enemies and allies. This is only hitting enemies, and it's getting good value because it's well timed, but it's not getting maximum value, right? It's not helping Complex push in and keeping him pocketed up. It's not letting, you know, Frosty and Greedy get extra aggressive and stay alive through any pressure, you know? Like, it's only putting damage out, which is only half as much value as it could be getting. So we want to be aware of this, but I also want to know, where do we flip the point? Like, where do we give it to him and why? Oh, wait, no, we're red. I'm fucking stupid, bro. So small brain. We don't flip the point there. Okay. So, Complex goes down. Genetic is still alive. At this point, we should start playing one on point, everybody else out. Because essentially, what's going to happen is we want to be farming for ultimates to be able to clean up the fight. So, Genetic is the only one who can actually sustain on point, besides maybe Tat. So, everybody else needs to kind of fan out and only get on point to help Genetic if Genetic needs like healing or protection that can be provided. So, right, like Tat can be wall riding around Genetic and speeding him and healing him and stuff like that to try to keep him alive and keep that sustain going. But Frosty and Luna largely might want to be playing corners on the outside of the map, because if anybody starts focusing them down, they're in an unfavorable duel for the most part, right? Echo against Sombra or Moira is maybe a little bit even, but against that Reinhardt or that Zarya, it's fairly disadvantaged. Like, I think you can pull it off against the Zarya because she doesn't have armor, but like the Reinhardt has armor right now, so Sombra is gonna have a hard time actually chipping into that to start. So you can't like actually get caught out by most of the heroes that are available on the enemy team. So you want to be playing elusive, you want to be playing on the border, you don't want to be committing to the point. So I'm not sure who else is on point right now, but I want to make sure that we understand that during these fights, it's really important that we trust the tanks who are on point, that we confirm who's on point, and then everybody else is playing for a specific purpose, which should be to get ultimates that can kind of like end the game. And that's really what Genetic is trying to do right here, where he has his ultimate and he's trying to close out the game. He's trying to get rid of the Reinhardt and the Zarya by pushing them into a corner, but the beat is able to come out, so that doesn't work because there's a counter to it, right? So then the next thing up really has to be either the EMP, the beat, or the coalescence. Tac Visor is on its way back, so we should be able to sustain, like we should try to also sustain for that. But everybody else is going to need to try to just get value through their ultimates right now, because you're in big team fight territory. So this rotation here by Frosty is not great, just because it puts her back in harm's way. Like, once she sees somebody coming for her, like, you need to just completely back off, give space, and understand how fast they can move, because that Reinhardt just kind of like, you walk back towards him essentially. The invis is a little maybe mistimed, but either way that Reinhardt's going to be swinging. Like, you're not making it through this doorway, invisible or not, you know? So you just need to be a little bit more careful with when you're getting on point and who's on point, because now with Frosty, I think, getting on point, like we have 3 on point for some reason when we really don't need to have 3 on point, you know? There's a video that came out recently by CarQ for anybody who's interested. He goes over the actual hitboxes basically for the contestable points on the map. So if you're interested in kind of understanding the particular hitboxes for each of the maps and all of the objectives in the game, it's about like a half an hour to an hour long video. Everybody knows that the Overwatch maps are like finicky. Like, they'll be somebody will be like, oh, I was on point when, you know, the game said it wasn't. So things like this really help kind of clarify you know, why you were or weren't on point. But just going back to the formal point, then again here with Greedy, so same thing. Poking from off point would have been significantly better, would have gotten you that, I don't actually know if you get tack off here. We'll be able to look a little bit closer, I guess. So Frosty goes down, you're getting pretty close to tack. But see, why are you on point? Like, there's just really no purpose here. Even if in this situation, right, they're about to cap, like, you're at 99. You're not getting any more percentage. You might as well just be regrouping with the team, because now Greedy dying means that from this very moment, his respawn timer just started. The team has to wait for him to regroup, and if they wait for him to fully regroup, I think they get a full cap before Greedy even gets back into the engagement. I think you have to contest at a disadvantage with the death timing for like these last 2 or 3 people. So the playing outside of the map also has that kind of like intended purpose where it's like it's easier to retreat and regroup if the fight is going bad, right? Like if you're just farming alt and like trusting genetic and complex to contest point, maybe Tat goes to contest point a little bit if you say you're close to alt or something like that. If things go wrong, you're not on point, so you just leave and you get the faster like regroup and stuff like that. But because you guys are like committing to the point or like getting too close to the point and getting focused down, now we're probably going to get to the situation where we can't get a clear and clean 6v6 recontest. Welcome to the party, Tat. And Frosty. I'm laying in my bed. So yeah, now we get the kind of sloppy, not sloppy, but like it's just all over the place, right? Like we're not getting a 6v6 recontest. Complex jumps in, gets absolutely nuked. Everybody else follows up, but they have a ton of big damagey heroes. Like, well, they swapped off Sim, so but even still, Echo with her beam is absolutely destructive against tanks like Ball and Winston if she's able to actually get them below half. So the last fight wasn't even a real fight. The fight before it was the last real chance that we had, right? The playing off of point and being careful with farming ultimates and kind of like making sure we're not committing too hard to a point that we already have control of is, I think, going to be pretty important for securing these kind of like close games. And I think we actually very well could have won this map and gone on to the next one, which the next one is actually like we usually win the next one pretty well. Like it's a little bit more of a, I think, what was that one called? Fuck. I know what I'm talking about. The one with White Room and it's got the big outside space that Far's usually playing the bridge on. I think it's Tower, but I don't know. But either way, we probably could have won that one out if I think you guys were a little bit more patient, a little bit more aware of how close you were to ultimates, and a little bit more aware of the win condition there, which was to get ultimates and clean the fight up, not just to commit to trying to deal some form of miscellaneous damage, because they have 2 tanks and 2 supports which are going to sustain through your miscellaneous damage. The only way you clean that up right there is through your ultimate game.
I'm pretty sure the map you're talking about was Garden.
Is it called Garden? I don't know. The control maps, I never know like what they're called.
It is Garden.
Yeah, it's Garden, Tower, and Market. The one you just watched is Market. The one in like that like receiver room with the pillar in the middle, that's Tower.
Okay, interesting. All right. So let's watch us roll Rialto. Trying to get the cinematic fly through. I see them. This is why you can't use mouse and keyboard to cinematic fly through though. Yeah, and then they completely swap their composition. It's a neat little competitive thing that they do, where it's like teams that aren't aware might think that they actually just revealed their composition. It's also probably just fun for them, I would imagine. Good pressure on part of Complex. I like the timing. I think they didn't go far because they were scared of our DPS. Yeah, I agree. I think whoever their tracer was probably said, because there was a few times that like the camera was on the Tracer, and the Tracer went for a flank, and Greedy said no, basically. So I think they went... They have hit scan players. Please no. Sorry about that. Forgot to put my phone on vibrate. There we go. So yeah, I think they were aware, and they were scared. They also just might not have a Pharah player. Like, it's just possible that they just don't have a Pharah player. I don't know what this camera angle is, honestly. I don't know what we're looking at.
They're trying to show the complexity of the nothingness.
Okay, again, clearing high ground. Thank you very much. They had a Pharah level. I was watching through Vods and Pharah mostly. Okay, so this is where Greedy decided to win. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. So he said we win. So we win. It's funny though, because like, so as much as, right, like I was saying, like Greedy really carries us through the first and second section, and then Genetic usually on Roadhog carries us through the third section. I think Greedy should start going Roadhog on the third section once we turn the corner, because it gets close range. Like the nature of Overwatch is such that like even when one person is carrying, it's very still dependent on everybody else doing their job, right? So the only reason that Greedy is able to hit these shots right now is because Complex is able to take so much aggression from the enemies and like pull their attention away. Like this Roadhog kind of starts backing up. The Ashe starts making moves because she's aware of the pressure that's being put behind her. You know, Genetic still pressuring point and stuff like that and pulling the Sigma away. And just look at the free space that Greedy has. And they're only able to do that because then, again, the supports are propping them up and keeping them, like, we get the nano onto Complex, and we're able to kind of, like, keep these things moving. So, as much as I say, you know, like, one person is you know, maybe carrying us through, it's really just because they're hitting the shots, basically, and they're getting the kill feed credit. It really is the Overwatch's nature is such that, you know, like you can't do it on your own ever, regardless of what you see happening or what you think is happening. If the team is doing well, it's also on part of you because you are part of the team and they need you to actually be able to do anything credible. Even if your role is only to be a distraction, it's still a very important role. Or if, like, your role is to be, like, a fucking nuisance. Like, let's say you're Tracer and we're like, just, like, poke at their supports and annoy them. Like, that's just still huge. Because then their supports get all frazzled and they don't heal properly, so we can win the tank matchup easier, so on and so forth, you know? I don't think there's going to be a lot that I have to say on this map. I'm pretty much just going to watch it through for the most part. If anybody has anything they want to talk about in particular. Ryuzo is such a nice map for the team. 100% win rate. Yeah, I'm sure going forward we're going to get scouted for, like, they're going to expect us to play Rialto. The interesting thing is that we probably won't ever get to play Rialto anymore if we start winning our first control map. Because if they get to pick, then they're going to, like, anybody who has more than 2 brain cells will just not pick Rialto. They'll pick something else. Which I still don't think is bad because most of the escort maps have, like, if you've noticed, they're all, like, very similar, where they're Widow friendly in the beginning, first and second, and then you get to third, and, what do you call it? It's like you want to be a little bit more close range as you round that last corner. So we should be able to still pull off a win on any escort map, I think, at this point. But, like, I'm sure that most of the teams at this point are aware of the fact that we're good on Rialto and probably won't want to pick it if we start winning our control maps, which is going to be our goal, right? Our goal is going to be win control maps and then still win escort regardless. This was good, Complex. I remember watching that juggle. It was funny that they woke you up, honestly. Like, you were sleeping and then they were like, nah, we want him to kill us. Kind of looked like I was watching you out there with how much you wake up. Tat sleeps. Walden.
Oh, Bossman, did you get, or are you still looking for the scrims for team night
Yeah, I am.
tonight? Okay.
It might wind up just not being a scrim and being something else. I would like to get you guys like one scrim sometime soon, but it really is difficult to find teams to scrim at you guys' rank.
Yeah.
Excuse me. If anything, I think we're gonna just do 2 independent practices, because I wanna look at the way that you guys are practicing again and restructure it a little bit. But we're also going to be kind of looking at everything and maybe retailoring things a little bit more. Depends on new incoming players next semester, though. I also did want to bring up another conversation. So Luna's not here right now, but just in case she gets to this point and is able to watch, which I'm assuming she is, because you guys are all diligently watching all of these VODs, right? Right. No, but we were having a conversation yesterday where it was like about mercy pocketing and stuff like that. And one of the things that I had kind of forgotten to bring up was that how Mercy plays is dependent on the meta sometimes. So there are metas, like when McCree was meta a few years ago, honestly, at this point. But like you would play him with the Mercy Pocket because the Mercy Pocket basically made up for his low mobility. And was able to kind of just enhance the things he was already good at. So you would just pocket the McCree. Or like when you would pocket Ashe a little while ago, like the meta was designed so that you would pocket Ashe. Like there was nothing else for you to do but pocket the Ashe. Because she just got so much value if you just kept pocketing her. But there's some metas where like you play Mercy and you play Mercy to kind of just play for the team, where it's like you don't damage boost as much. You're really looking to like damage boost during like key things, like let's say Genetic gets a hook. Anyway, you're gonna be damage boosting like when he lands the hook or something like that to try to enhance, and then beyond that you'll be juggling between 2 people. So I think our composition is a little bit more of that nature right now, where it's like it's really good to probably pocket our Ashe most of the time. It's probably pretty good to pocket our Junkrat most of the time. Probably pretty good to pocket Genetic most of the time if you can. But like there's no one person where it's like you have to sit on them, because it's just not the meta right now. It's not a pocket meta for Mercy right now. Haha, yes, smile. I'm gonna be really sad if I find out one day that you guys aren't watching the VODs at all and I've just been sitting here doing all this extra work for no reason. It'd make me really sad, I'm not gonna lie. Like I wouldn't cry, but like I'd come close.
Boss man, I'll be honest. Raising these kids, I forget to do a lot of things.
Yeah. I'm gonna cry
It's
now.
not easy.
I watch always.
No, I
Alright,
watch.
you kiss ass?
I know. I watch like half. Like I watch all of them, but half through. I'm gonna be honest.
I honestly expect, like, my expectation for like most of you guys watching it is that you're gonna put it on in the background and you're going to hear probably 40% of what I say, understand a solid 25%, and be busy for the other like 60% of it.
Oh. Hello. So I'm basically already doing what you want.
That's what I expect, yeah. Just because of the, like, again, it's just the nature of what's happening. I understand 90%. Nice. 90% of the 40% that you pay attention to? I just woke up.
That's a lot of percentages.
Frosty understands 100% of the 2% she pays attention to.
I mean, I understand the majority of the things you're saying when it's like directed towards me or Team Night, because that's like our level. This other stuff, I kind of tab key out because I'm like, this is high level gameplay.
I mean, but you gotta build up to this. So some of this stuff you should really be paying attention to.
Yeah.
You can't get here if you don't work on these things.
I try, but yeah.
110% if I'm here because I try to remind others if they forget. Lol, dude. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, so I think the part of the reason that I kind of like expected to be a little bit all over the place with you guys actually paying attention is just because we're online and it's very dependent on you guys being like disciplined and actually like taking extra time to go through them, watch them, understand them on your own and stuff like that. When we're able to get back in, it's just gonna be like I'll have the big board and we're gonna like have the VOD reviews and I'll have actual markers probably. Yo, it sounds so fun. Oh my god. I don't know, man. But it's hard to observe in Overwatch, especially when you're the only observer. So I'm not gonna judge them too much. They're doing their best. They should have probably just just kept swapping between various first persons because the third person is too hard to navigate on PC. You absolutely need a controller. This person does not have a controller and you can just tell. Yo, Frosty, Sombra gameplay. Okay, never mind. No Sombra gameplay for you. Oh, look at that Sombra go. I feel like we should have beat this team because like their tanks are like super scared. They're super not doing anything right now. Poor guy.
I'm out of here. I'm not a good loser.
No, that's just their play in general, Frost. That's just their how their tanks are. Tanks tried to get me, Lamau. Don't worry, Frosty. We're gonna start because you're almost there. I swear to God, you're almost there to actually bringing really big value. You just gotta get out of your own fucking head. Oh my god, the biggest shatter! Oh my god, look at how shredded he got! Holy shit, Ryan's so squishy, bro.
You could say that again. Oh my lord.
Through my nano, exactly.
Yo.
Is everything coming through better for you guys in terms of the Discord stream and stuff like that? And how's the I don't know if the audio sounds that much better or anything like that.
I could barely hear the gameplay audio, but I don't think that's really important.
Oh yeah, because I have it really low on my end. Sorry, because it was like super loud.
Right click and check it. It's
Thousand times better. Nice. Very cool. Now we just next year we might get level 2, depending on how much we're still using the Discord next year. Complex may have jumped off. I'm crying. This was a good nano. Good sleep too. It was a big sleep, big nano. Big EMP. Big res too. Yeah, you guys just played this really well. I think I'm gonna leave this here. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about this because you guys played this really well. The only thing that we could have done better is probably had like holistically, I think our fight timing is still a little bit messy because whatchamacallit, like we still sometimes stay in fights that we shouldn't, or like drag fights out that are lost, or take too long to clean up fights that are won. So it's like I think our fights are still a little bit like messy when it comes to the melee. When it comes to, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like holistically there's just some stuff that we want to try to clean up a little bit. But you guys played that really, really well, and I think the only thing that would have made it better is if we had cleaner engages and disengages in order to have like a better like set plan there. I don't know if any of you guys watch the Overwatch League. If you go back to the May Melee for Paris, their re-engage against Philadelphia in the finals of that tournament was like really beautiful. And it's on Rialto first point too. If I was on the team, it would have been better. Lol, did.
I remember calling something, that last point, because I got like really confident because I saw like the squishies that were there. I was like, God, just focus the tank because there was balls just like going around the point. I was like, I know I can hit the squishies. Just focus the tank.
That was a good call. That was a very good call. Because you can't do any... Well, you can do something about the ball, but you can't do much about him. Meanwhile, everybody else has a hard time dealing with the squishies.
Exactly.
Now, Volskaya fucking Industries. You know what? No. This is what we're gonna do. We're ignoring 2CP. We're just fucking ignoring 2CP.
Yeah. Can we not watch this? Thank you.
Yeah, no. We're holistically just going to ignore 2CP. We are a control, escort, and hybrid team.
I mean, but I like 2CP.
That's fine. Then you need to get good enough that we can put you on the 2CP maps.
All right.
And Paris. Fuck Paris, bro. We know your comp now. Yeah, how did they... Wait. How did they kill themselves? Oh, okay, that pit there, I guess. Wait, did they really walk back?
Did they walk backwards? What?
Clowns, bro.
They actually... Oh my...
Alright. So let's look at this a little bit more. I want to start basically running things a little bit more methodically when it comes to taking space. So, Greedy, where are you right now? Can we find out where you are? Oh, okay. I think you stand in the window because the Hanzo's spamming you, right?
Yeah. I kind of just like wait to see where he is because I wasn't sure where he was, but yeah.
What I want to try to start doing is like, instead of peeking that top window to start, like use it to scout, of course, right? Like you're gonna peek there, you're gonna see where they're holding, if they're doing anything you could exploit really quickly. But the main objective should be that as soon as our tank line crashes with their tank line, that high ground to the left of the statue right now.
Yeah, behind it. Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
As soon as they crash, you should be taking that, because essentially what happens is you compound the space that Complex and Genetic are taking by like fortifying it and forcing them back around the corner. And then you can, as they continue to push forward, you can also synchronize that with your sight line. And Shadow should be doing the same. He should be going wide around the statue, and as soon as Complex and Genetic are crashing with their tank line, he should be kind of peeking into that front sight lines, and then continuing from the side of statue to the black car as we push around, as you push the high ground.
Yeah, I got you.
and then Luna should be kind of like sitting with Shadow as he pushes along that black car, and then able to like swap onto the tanks if needed, and able to turn around and swap onto you if needed. And the positioning should be for her so much so that she shouldn't have to Guardian Angel too far. Like, she should be able to just walk a few steps forward to get to one or the other and save Guardian Angel for escapes. Okay, so Genetic gets aggressive there when nobody else gets aggressive there. Why does he get aggressive there? Because they back up. Because they back up, and as soon as this Reinhardt starts stepping into him, he's on the side. So if Complex steps forward here, he has this Reinhardt basically pincered between him and Genetic, and he's able to basically just... That's a free kill for the two of them. But because Complex hesitates, or at least doesn't recognize this opportunity, and Genetic pushes up on his own, Genetic is then in the 2v1 instead of where... Like, the enemy tank should have been in the 2v1 instead of Genetic being in the 2v1. And then it just looks like, you know, their Hanzo, I think, just hits some shots and he gets burned down. I can't see their Tracer. Oh, she's already up there. When you got up there.
Yeah, she was on my ass the whole time. Ever since I dropped down from that porch.
Yeah, it's because she was already up there. If you like, you just had to check that spot earlier, clear it earlier, so that you could get up there. Okay, so they win first fight, so they have ultimates. We don't use ultimates. Oh, was this the roll? Was this where we said we have Shatter? Like, let's roll into it?
No. I just switched to McCree.
Okay. Alright, so he loses because of ultimates. I don't think that was bad, actually. Like, their ult economy is just going to be better at this point, so the only way we actually even out this ult economy is by either taking dry fights, which I think in this situation is bad, because they're still going to farm ults in these next dry fights, because their supports are, not close to their ult. Like, they're in a good positioning right now, where they could still farm easy ultimates. Okay, I remember this. I'm not sure why we shatter there necessarily. I think once she grabs that, like, we just have to turtle it out. We don't have any defensive ultimates, so, like, even if you get a good shatter there, we're probably not going to survive that.
Maybe right here, I think.
Yeah, I think this was it. So, yeah, like, there needs to... Oh, well, no, because he doesn't have shatter at this point.
He doesn't have shatter, yeah, you're right.
Huh. Oh, well. Good grab, Dragon. On 2CP, just for future note, because we're not going to care about it anymore, just go for like an ult combo like Grab Dragon, Nano Blade, something cheesy, Nano Blossom, anything, just one concrete thing, and just you have to get that off. That is just our win condition on 2CP. That's all we care about, is getting that off.
And managing them.
Yeah. Nice res, nice kill. Jesus Christ, what happened to us there? Why did that happen? Okay, so one thing to be aware of is you can't push up if they get a, like, if you cleanly kill them and they're able to get a regroup. Because they're already, like, look at the space they're claiming here. So it's like we can hold in front of the choke and hold to, like, you see where complex is right now. We can kind of hold there. But like we have to have our full team there too, pretty much. So if we get a clean kill, we actually don't care about moving cart until this fight is won. So that's one of the issues that comes with doing something like a Grav Dragon, is because we got those 4 kills, they respawn at the same time and they're back, and then they have high mobility characters that like Tracer, Lucio, that can get back into the fight really fast and help others get back into the fight really fast. So when that happens, we cap point, it doesn't matter. Like we have to claim this space. As soon as we cap point, we have to finish claiming this space, because they're gonna secure it, and this is like a really strong foothold for them. I'm really glad that we actually were able to get past this, because what happens a lot of the times is if you get a clean wipe on first and then the enemy team is able to get to this spot, it's so hard to push into it as attackers that this is where you stop. This is where the cart ends, because this is such a good choke with so few other options. Shadow, I think it would have been better there for you to focus the Reinhardt because he's easier to hit and he was low. I think in these situations, it's important that you guys don't get too hung up on trying to hit the skill shots. And I'm talking to like Greedy, Shadow, Frosty, DPS, right? When you get into these situations where it's like you're the last one and you're kind of just like hitting some shots and trying to see who you can hit, try not to aim at the squishies if you have a tank that you can shoot at for free, because it's easier to hit them. It's confirmed ult charge. And, you know, you never know, they may be low. Losing a tank is so important. Like, it's so big if the, like, Shadow was able to burst down that Reinhardt, who is half. But, you know, if you hit the squishies and you pop off, sure, it's the bigger play, but it's less likely to happen. So, either way, nothing there is going to be too significant. It's really just, like, a small kind of note. But I think it's just something where you can get minor additional value, right? It's a good flash. Oof. We don't come out of that spawn anymore. We should just come out of the spawn to the... There's a spawn over to the right side, I'm pretty sure. I wish I could go around. What did I do? Did I say your name? Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's another spawn we can come out of, because that's actually a pretty easy shot for him to hit, and he was already spamming that. Okay, Tat, you should have nanoed Greedy. You should have just nanoed him. I just think that was the clutch play right there. I think you just go for it, say fuck it, because you had a second where you could have just bursted him to full health pretty much with the nano, and he would have been able to turn around and fuck them up. Like right there. So you hit the nade, which I think throwing the nade was the right option. You just did it too slow because the nade could have hit him before he hit the corner. But you throw the nade like you throw the nade in a way that hits him once he gets line of sight, and then you go for the shot, which is too late. But I think you go for the nade before he gets to the corner, and then you're able to hit the shot, or you nano him. Because, like I said, then you just kind of continue, like you just transfer that into the next, because he got a big pick, he gives you an advantage, and then, you know, you're able to just snowball that into the next piece with the nano McCree just bapping. The nano on complex was big though. I do want to kind of look back at that. Because he gets nanoed and then he kind of just thrives in the back line. Okay, so a big sleep again. Tad opens up a lot of these chokes with sleeps. I think we calm that they have ults. Yeah, probably. Okay, cool. That was nice. Basically, because we nano our Reinhardt, our tanks are able to survive with or without supports, really. And then we basically have Genetic, who is like a diamond always nanode, and then we have Complex, who is a diamond nanode. It's gonna be my new description for Genetic from now on. He's just a diamond who's always nanode. This is a good counter shatter. That's that type of shatter that he hit on you, Complex. You just have to be aware that's a shatter he can hit on you. Once you get the bubble there, I think you can go aggressive on that Hanzo, and I think you just kill him and the Lucio there. Once you have the pocket and the bubble on you, rather. Okay, right? Story time. I'm gonna wait for Complex to actually finish typing real quick. I was going to play in the Mega and he walked past me. Yeah. Does anyone know why Briggs' armor pack was so broken in Goats?
His armor takes less damage.
Sure, that's one reason. 'Cause broken. No, that's not a reason. That's just reality. That was reality.
Wasn't it in Goats like was the armor pack even there during Goats?
Huh?
I'm just tripping.
What happened?
Was it there in Goats?
Yep, the armor pack was there. From Brig.
But it was like one.
No, she had 3 charges.
No way she had 3 charges. I thought that was like a new thing.
Nope. She had 3 charges of armor pack. Alright, so the real reason that Briggs' armor pack was broken, right, was because it was instant. New armor pack DOTs. It heals over time. HOTs, rather. But... Chill, wait, I'm lagging. So, essentially, what would happen is if your Reinhardt got low, you could bubble him and throw 2 armor packs and then instantly have a nearly full health Reinhardt with bubble. So essentially what the idea was you had a preemptive res on your team by using armor pack and bubble together. It was almost like giving him nano, just without the damage portion. Like you gave him damage negation just so quickly. The concept that we really want to draw from this, right, is what happens when you have a support pocket and a bubble on you, right? Is you go from being a Reinhardt who's getting punished in a bad position to a Reinhardt who's in a good position, able to do damage because he has health. So we want to be really conscious of when we have bubble on us and when we have bubble and a support on us. Because in those instances, we have the ability to turn bad positioning into really, really strong positioning for tanks. For tanks in particular. For supports and DPS, this doesn't apply as much because you have less health overall. But for tanks, you're such a big conduit of damage and healing that, am I getting compliments or roasted? I haven't talked much about you yet, Shadow. You hit like a few nice shots, and then I talked about like some priority focus thing that wasn't too important earlier. But essentially what you're allowed to do is once you get that bubble and that healing is you're allowed to take that bad positioning where you had to be passive in that positioning and you are allowed to make it aggressive positioning. We're allowed to go in further. So we just want to be aware of kind of like when we're getting those resources and what it allows us to do and how it changes the scope of our positioning. Because you on top of that Hanzo at low health is bad positioning. As soon as you get that bubble and that healing, it's good positioning. Instantly. You instantly become a scary creature. Because, right, so we're going to look at it. So you're gonna chase him up the stairs. You get the pin on the Moira, was huge. Okay, you don't chase him with the stage. But then you're up here with low health. And then you get the bubble, right? So now he can't deal damage to you. And then you get the healing. So now you can actively be aggressive because you have the healing on you. So we want to make sure that we're, you know, just attentive of the resources we're getting and how aggressive we're allowed to be. Just from moment to moment. Because those small moments can change things sometimes. And it can sometimes give you an additional pick. Open up a fight in a certain way that you didn't think it could before. Etc, etc. Jesus, what is this camera work actually? How did he miss the whole grab? So this is what a retreat chase looks like, and this is why Lucio can be so big, because you guys get, like, you have a good idea of that it's time to disengage. Doesn't matter, though, they have a Lucio. That's not to say you guys should have done anything differently. That's interesting. I didn't know Zarya can get up there like that. For any of you who didn't see that play Zarya, she was on cart, bubble jump to the top of the doorway, and then jump to the top of the thing. New Zarya attack, lol. Oh, we look at Dama Noob. She had 1 pack she threw. What do you mean she had 1 pack she threw? She had 3 armor packs that she could dispose of. She had... okay, so first we have to remember... What... Yeah, not OG. Not OG. I'm talking about, like, Overwatch League Brig Goats, where it was like she had gotten 2 or 3 changes at that point. Yeah, no, I'm... Wait... We could look back at the patch notes later. I know the situation that I'm talking about, or at least the form of Brig that I was talking about, where she had 3 charges of armor pack that she could throw out, but it was still instant burst damage. Big shatter. Yeah, I don't think they ever buffed Brig. Like, I think this buff to Brig that she just got, where they gave her health, is the first buff she's actually gotten. Greedy with High Noon like this, so... Hold on. Okay, so the enemies are on their back foot, right? You have tons of space, tons of allies in front of you, healing resources available and stuff like that. Just hold High Noon for the duration. Just hold it for the fucking duration. Because what you're doing while you hold it is you demand that this Moira can't come into line of sight. And until she does, or until the High Noon ends, she just has to abandon her Reinhardt to just get smacked around by our tanks. Because if Reinhardt drops shield, he dies. And everybody behind him dies. So just hold High Noon because it clears space. The best thing that they can do in this situation is try to close the distance on you, which is you're too far. Good job neutralizing the ball. Yeah, good job on this part too. Continuing to call targets. Same thing on Rialto. Continuing to call targets. You guys kind of like faded for like a half step. So you know we want to erase that absolutely. We need to just like make sure that the target calling in these cleanup end fight moments is like just constant, seamless, never ending. One target to the next. Communication always constantly flowing. I think you guys did a good job this game. We just need to continue to build that up and make sure it's solid. Absolutely. I had her until shatter. Okay, let's look at us fall apart. Let's watch us absolutely crumble. Oh man. Could it be us? Ooh. The camera didn't want none. Yo, look at this fucking transition, bro. That was amazing. I think they were trying to pan through multiple people. Oh my god. That's amazing. Okay. Okay. So complex. Why did you not jump to the high ground above them? Did you miss? I feel like you said you missed.
No comment.
Okay, well, in the future, jump to the high ground above them. Don't, or either onto
That
the
makes
statue
sense.
or
Yeah.
above them. Crying emoji. Okay, so we lose one, but we got two. Okay, good, good. But then we feed Luna. We sacrifice Luna. Which was just a bad call and low awareness of the fact that they were on statue. Okay, so this is one of the things that we do have to be aware with, right, Greedy? Part of the composition requires your tanks to be in front of you still for you to hold this positioning, right? So when your tanks are like in this disarray and when they're not actually controlling the area around point and near statue and stuff like that, you need to just automatically drop back to the furthest, most passive positioning. So regardless of if you think you have clear shots on point, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, their tanks control enough space that their Widow has sightlines that you don't want her to have. She has too many sightlines on you. So you just want to drop back to that third window right up here underneath our name and just poke from there. Because from there, there's significantly less sightlines that the Widow can actively shoot you from. And it's easier for you to not only win the duel or control the duel, but still then get some clean shots on point and still put some pressure on point. So complex feeds, then we feed Luna, actively feed Luna to the enemies. Like she's some sacrificial pawn. Complex jump to high ground, not just back. Because then stuff like that happens where you just get chased down by the Tracer. Alright. We fell apart a little bit. I actually think all things considered, the composition, I think our defensive composition isn't bad. I think we have a fairly good composition. I'm going to stop questioning it, I think. And just kind of trust the composition and let it roll. And try to see where else we might be able to implement it. On Li Zhang. I don't know, Li Zhang doesn't have any... Oh, we should run Sim on that one map. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about that. Yeah. If we wanna try running Sim on Li Zhang, we can, but not now. I say not now because it's a little bit close, and I already have certain plans that I want to run through for this one. So I think in terms of like absolutely winning for right now, that would probably be a good strategy, is to just say like, let's just run Sim on the maps that we can run Sim on. But there's other things that I want to build up first. This really is still, remember guys, like a test semester for us. We're just feeling out everything, seeing what the competition looks like, seeing what the ECAC looks like. So there's gonna be certain things that we're not throwing, right? We're still trying our best, but like I wanna see certain things. I'm feeling out certain things, and I'm preparing you guys for certain situations. Okay, cool. We win. Lol. I'm gonna send you a Sombra replay, by the way, because if we need a Sombra, I want to be able to do it too. Okay, yeah. I don't think it's bad to have you, be able to flex onto Sombra and stuff like that if we need it on, you know, King's Row or something like that, or one of the other maps in between. I just think most of the maps are probably going to be suited towards, like, Escort is always going to be too big for us to be wanting you to fuck the update lost it. Never mind, it be like that. Yeah, escort's gonna be too big for us to want to be running you on like Sombra over other things. I think for our King's Row strategy, Sombra can work, but I think it works better with the Ashe or the Junkrat, or just something that works really well with the Mercy Pocket. And then I think for 2CP, we might want to run Sombra on 2CP, just for that big ult combo, like we just EMP grab or something like that, and then we just get the win, or we EMP anything and we just get the win. So maybe on 2CP we start running Sombra or something like that, but then again, we can do Grab Dragon, or we can do Nano Blade or something like that, you know? So I just think there's a bunch of options for that. Okay, we actually swapped onto Reinhardt here. Don't hate it, don't hate it, don't hate it. Because I think largely there's no one. Yeah, well, I mean, there's the Widow, but Greedy's got the Widow. So as long as you're not chasing down the Widow, there's really nothing for you to do in this composition as Winston. Oof, that was a nice shot. Too bad it wasn't fucking first person, so we couldn't see it, but whatever. He's a good tire. I really like that trap positioning. I think that's something that we should be prepared for ourselves. So like the supports and stuff like that, be prepared for that trap positioning from Shadow if he's playing Junkrat on this map, where he like, because he's done that like 2 or 3 times now, where he's like on that specific catwalk or that back high ground and he just chills. Shadow, just be prepared, especially when they're running a Widow for that like long sight line. I would do it on the walk, like the high ground walkway, instead of in that open space where the Widow might be able to see you. Because that is kind of common that Widows will peek that to get sight lines onto the back line and stuff like that. So just be aware of that and try to have like slightly altered positioning to adjust for that, or just be like aware of it and be able to like counter it if it's gonna, like if they're gonna come and try to get you or something like that. Because some teams will check that sight line. Look at Genetic doing his best. I was aware of it and they couldn't hit me while strafing that game. Yeah, if you feel that way, that's cool. Like if you're just like, oh, I'm not getting hit too, like they're not hitting me too well, that's okay. We still just want to try to play the safer positioning, because if they hit you via luck, we still lose the fight. Like that's one of the sucky things sometimes, is like you play in low elo sometimes and like people hit you due to luck, because they're not skilled enough, but it doesn't matter because you still lose the fight either way. You're still giving them the chance, taking the risk. Also, the other thing too, so this is something that carries over across, like this is just a concept for like competition and stuff like that. Keep cold players cold. If Greedy starts out the game by hitting his shots and the other Widow is cold and she's not hitting shots because she's like shook, or she's just like getting dominated and it's affecting all of her shots, don't give her the easy shot on you. Even if like you see her not being able to hit it, like just don't give her the shot. Keep her cold, because the second she clicks your head, she's gonna feel more confident and specifically at least clicking your head. So just keep her cold. Like don't give her the opportunity. We want to deny people the ability to get in rhythm and get warm. That's why if any of you play like 2K or something like that, they have like a cold mechanic where essentially your stats go down if you do enough like bad things. But what happens is if you continue to just lightly defend that person and like make it so that their lives are difficult, then they stay cold and they just are a non-factor for the whole game. Which means that during key parts of the game where you need to do something in particular, help somewhere else, you know, provide support to your team in a different way, it's easy to do so. Because you don't have to worry about that person, because they've been cold the whole fucking game. Like, it doesn't matter.
My ultimate is charged.
Not yet.
Alright, you guys do get the rest of it. Nice camera. I'm not going to be too worried about the rest of this right now. I think King's Row, fairly solid. Control the high ground on that third point maybe a little bit more. You know, make sure that you're not feeding first point, because we want to try to... The idea is, right, with our defenses is we're not looking to hold first, right? We don't lose if we don't hold first. We don't lose if we don't hold second. We're really just trying to stop them from getting all three. And even if they get all three, our goal is to get them into overtime. And even if we get them to overtime, our goal is to get them to with as little time as possible. On defense, we are bleeding time from the clock. So the more time we can bleed, the better. So we want to think about it holistically, because I think largely what we should be doing is we should be playing through our mechanical abilities and the abilities that we have on our offensive end to try to, you know, like, be like a good attacking team. But what I'm setting right now is fundamentals for defense, so that when we go into getting into our, like, I think we're much better at attacking than we are defending. But when we get into really understanding our attack and pushing our attack, I want us to have solid defensive fundamentals to fall back on, because defense is how you win a lot of these games. So I want to make sure that, you know, like, you're understanding that if we let them get all three, it's okay. Like, they can get all three. If we let them get first point, like, it's okay. We're looking to bleed clock. We're looking to play the full game. So we win that game because we get three and they get 2.5 or 2 4/4 or whatever. Do. Oh my god, how long does it take us to start this fucking game?
Ready for battle.
Our portrait's ravioli. I'm intrigued.
Very fine. But I'm comfortable with who I am. It's a good trip.
Alright.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
No, I'm honestly, for us, I'm just gonna point out a few things here and there, but like we're gonna go over things after the VOD review. I wish we had the replay. No, they updated on Thursday or something like that. Like, you were watching it today? What time yesterday? Yesterday night? Then send me if you can send me the code, then we might be able to go look back at it. But usually when they update, 99.9% of the time, it wipes the replay codes, and you're not able to look back at the old ones. Control C. Hold on it. So maybe, Shadow, you can still send me that Sombra gameplay then. I always wish I woke up earlier. If I woke up earlier today, I could have played more Final Fantasy. House? I don't understand. Options? No, not options, dummy. Oh yeah, replay codes are resets every patch. What the fuck? Oh, I wonder if it technically isn't a patch because it's all was already in experimental. So I wonder if it doesn't count. Oh, that'd be awesome. All right, well, we looked through the other one, so we're just gonna look through this last one. Oh, I'm home. All right, thank fucking God. Oh, I think my camera works better than that guy's. Holy shit. Look at you guys in there already. It's like Fortnite, they can update games without pushing a patch. Well, usually what happens is when they push a patch, it like resets everything. But I don't, like, they usually can't update unless they store it early. Complex, you want to talk about that one, buddy? What the fuck even happened to you?
We don't see. We don't see.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Either way.
Yeah. I think Complex already knows what I'm fucking talking about.
Copy on
No, I don't.
God damn.
Alright.
Damn, something.
What the fuck happened here, buddy? Did you hit the fucking lip? Oh my God. Alright. So. Alright. Da 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 da. This is how we're gonna look at this now. Because this is where the fight's mostly gonna take place. Oh, wait. I've never experienced this one. Okay, so look at them. You see that a monkey? You see their monkey complex? You see their monkey? Where their monkey is where you should be. Okay?
But we don't move as fast. Like, we don't have... If I go up there, it's just me versus 3.
It is, but you should get up there, right? And then you realize there's 3 and then you leave. But this jump right here that he makes, you should be making. And if you're not going to make that as monkey, you might as well have just played Reinhardt.
I also missed the first jump, so he had
speed
the
advantage.
extra jump.
Yeah.
That I missed.
I do think this was good. Frosty, you should be following this up here. You should be looking to play with your Winston. Because you're the only one in this composition, Frost, that can actually keep up with Winston. Everybody else is too slow. I hate watching my replay because I'm not GM and I do the big bad. Yeah, it'd be like that. So yeah, this is mistiming, Frost. Because you need to be here when Complex is there. Like, Complex is up there now, and then you go up there after him when he's not going up there. And it's just mistiming. Like, you can't alternate like that. You have to be, like, together. So you want to be more aware of your, like, main tank or your whoever your really initiator is on the team to be able to synchronize with them. Because look at you. You just keep, like, going in after him and exiting before he gets there. So that mistiming is causing you both to get less value than you could because he needs more damage behind him and you need protection in front of you. And then now that this high ground is pretty much cleared, like, we need to have reclaimed it back. But I think there's opportunities on the ground that we're chasing, so not super duper concerned. But the main problem now is because we're chasing those opportunities, the Pharah has free reign, and the people we're chasing are relatively hard to kill, right? So this Winston with the Mercy Pocket on him is going to be relatively hard to kill. I think there's a baby diva now, so I don't know why she's still alive. Like, she's literally... Genetics probably, like, looking at her, like, when I fucking wake up. Ooh, when I wake up. But the fact that we focused on the monkey, not the baby diva, and we don't claim the high ground means we're missing out on two key pieces of this fight. And we're focusing on just the wrong things. The monkey can be in bad positioning, but sometimes that bad positioning is actually good because if you aggress into him while he still has cooldowns and resources, he's able to get out without you actually getting any value. We won't talk about it, greedy. It's fine. Just know I expect better. Aw, she got the poop. Frosty, you need to go. You need to go. You need to be gone. Right? Team regrouping, you're invis bitch. You need to go. I'm scared, yo. I don't care. You need to go. You need to get in their backline, and you need to actually do things. Because a lot of times, you wait too damn long. Just hack forehead. This is the main thing, right? So this is what we're largely going to be looking at, Frosty. So, one, you're too much in your own head. You need to stop being afraid of the enemies all the time. I was not warmed up and I blanked out. Doesn't matter. This is not a matter of warm. This is a matter of you just stationary. This isn't mechanics are what you warm up. Communication is what you warm up. Your problem solving skills is what you warm up. These are like, you just need to be there. Like, this is just Sombra play. You should be all the way up here, throwing Translocator, or all the way around here somewhere, throwing Translocator and getting in a good position already. What we're largely going to be looking at is how you can get into the back line on these maps. And the biggest thing that is holding you back right now is just yourself. You are right there. Your mechanics are fine enough. They're not, you don't have bad mechanics or anything like that. You just need to get into the fucking fight and start doing things. Because when you do that, you get good value. When you don't do that, because you're too goddamn scared of yourself and your goddamn own shadow, just, you start just freezing up and not doing anything. And that's where you really start to lose value. It's not because you're not good enough. It's just because you keep telling yourself you're not good enough. Can we balance you and Shadow? Yo, Shadow, give her a little bit of your aggression. Take some of her trepidation. Just trade out real quick. I like this jump. If Frosty was set up beforehand, she would have been able to follow you up, get tons of ult charge, and then potentially EMP. You see the thing about that? I don't know about that boss. I can't really do anything. Good barrage on her part. Genetic in the future. Try not to hook too early into fights where Pharah has ult, because I think that's one of the things that we definitely could have been doing in this game as a whole, is saving things like Sleep Dart and Hook for the Pharah ultimate. But I don't think we read that she had ultimate at that point, because I don't think we realized how much value she got. So this Primal winds up going wasted because the team fight is over. Honestly, Complex, at the point at which a team fight is over, you're not getting ult charge by doing damage, just leave. Like, you're not getting any of these kills, right? You might be able to get the soldier off the map maybe, but like, you're not juggling the Pharah anytime soon. So just leave earlier once you recognize the fight is over, I guess, but like, try to recognize the fight is over sooner. Like, get out of here, kid. What are you doing? What are you doing here? This isn't your hood. Get the fuck out of here. Go live in the street corner somewhere. Be banished. I don't like the bubble on this jump. Although the bubble takes a ton of damage, and that a lot of that damage might have gone into your face. A lot of that damage also might have just whiffed you. So I think the bubble would have been good if you actually landed, but the bubble isn't good, seeing as now, like, what is the bubble even doing? It's not securing a location or anything. It's literally just eating damage in a location where there's no damage to really be eaten. It also would have been really useful to Greedy if you bubble the high ground, because then he would have had a clearer sight line without having to worry about the soldier spamming him back. Okay, good. You're shooting. Attack visor comes out, that's a rip. Oh.
Wait, look at us in the corner with Diva.
Here? Yeah. I think I was like, Luna, please, just damage boost me something. And then I was like, I'm one, and then I got punched. Damn. You guys both got doinked. Alright. Main issues here was win conditions, cohesion, and timing. Okay. On to the next one. Oh my god. Getting all my buttons confused. Okay, so we get the high ground first, but they're running like a more complete dive setup, so that they have 2 tanks that get to the high ground first. But it's kind of okay because we have our supports right behind Complex. But for some reason, Complex doesn't like to trust his team, and he drops a lot. So we lose our main tank on the high ground, unfortunate, which means they have control of the high ground. And then we're forced to play in a corner. So, okay, this is a good dive back. Okay, this is great. Putting pressure. Need to switch my trans positioning more? Oh, your translocator? Oh, okay. Okay. But we don't have bubble because we used bubble before when Complex dropped off. And he doesn't have bubble because he used bubble before when he jumped on. So we double bubbled already, have no bubble when he re-engages, and now he's just eating all the damage to the face. Okay. So it would have been good if you had waited for defensive resources. But given that we had no friendly bubble or, like, Winston bubble, you just eat all the damage to the face and die. So next time, Complex, either wait for defensive resources to come back or don't drop off that high ground. Because where are you dropping to? Like, if you drop when your friends are coming up the stairs and your friends are like, damn, now we can't go down to follow him because they're, like, gonna fuck us up because they're right in front of us. Okay. Okay, he jumps, he gets counter jumped, so it boops him off. Gets the bubble. So this is one of those situations where it's like, this is why it's really good to have, you know, your jump resource for as long as you can, if possible. Let's look at this again. So they start on the low grounds. You jump up high and push the diva off, but then the diva is able to come right back because she was already on the high ground. So she's able to just come instantly back to the high ground if she wants to. And she does. And she boops you off because of it. I think in order to counter this, you need to maybe come in a little bit slower with the team to start. And then jump up with bubble. Like, jump up with genetics friendly bubble on you. And save your personal, like, Winston bubble for after she boops you somewhere, after she gets a little bit of a contest on you. Because if you have this friendly bubble on you, she can't boop you off, and then you can hold the high ground. Even if she does boop you off, then you can have bubble to, like, stabilize for a moment. You don't die there, but you do lose pretty vital control. Because what we would have liked to honestly see is for Greedy to be sped this way with, like, someone. Like, we want a McCree on this high ground. So it would have been nice to see this high ground cleared for Greedy to use it. And I think we do this by speeding Greedy over there, because I think Luna and Genetic can survive as, like, a unit on their own. And this isn't... So first we have to recognize this isn't a death ball composition, right? So we're not going to be like largely grouped up and stuff like that. We want to be getting everybody into the most advantageous positionings that can work together. So we want Complex, Genetic, and Luna to be kind of like forcing their way in, and then Genetic, or for Complex to be clearing the high grounds. But for Greedy and Frosty, they should want this back route, and they should want this high ground, because the high ground gives them access to over here. It allows them to drop down. They can go underneath after that if they want. They have access to see the entire atrium area back here. So they have access to a lot of different areas really quickly, which is really good for Greedy because he doesn't have a ton of mobility. But when you jump up here, essentially, Complex, not only do I think it's a little bit of like miss ability usage in terms of like you put your Winston bubble down, but like for what reason? You should have just used personal or friendly bubble. But also, like, who are you clearing it for? Like, you're clearing it from the enemies, maybe, but you're not clearing it for anyone. And you're not going to be able to kill this soldier. Like, he drops Biotic, he has the Ana healing on him, his tanks peel for him. He gets plenty of protection to be able to stay alive, so you're not going to kill him either. So I think there's just a few things here that we can adjust. Firstly, understanding our composition. Secondly, understanding our composition in relation to the map. And then using that information to actually do things. I think we do a good job, all things considered, but I think we can do a better job going forward. And be aware, guys, right? Like, I think you guys have put up good fights in both this match and the last match that we actually played in. But we haven't won a match against a decent team yet. The 3 matches we won, one was a forfeit from the enemy team, and the other 2 were just Pepega teams. Like, we haven't played a good team in one yet. So, we're doing... What happened?
You said there's one game where we versed a good team. Or that's what you were like, thank God they were good.
Well, no, yeah, but we haven't won against them.
Oh yeah.
We lost that. Like, also, is that how it sounds to you?
Nah, this is how I do everyone like that. Like,
I'm hurt.
If they say anything past, I always make fun of them like that, or not make fun of them, but just speak.
I'm crying on the inside.
Good job, Greedy.
How could you do this to me? How could you make me out this way? Okay. So was this no, this was not the fight where we called Farah has Barrage. You sound fine, coach. No, I sound like a fucking loser. I know I do. Me too, that's why I don't talk, lol, dude. Did we say that? I don't know what you're talking. I don't know what this is in relation. Okay, so looking back at the game though, Nano Monkey in deep, Frosty gets fucked up. Did we say you sound bad? No. I just know I sound bad.
Bad thought process.
I have listened to my voice a lot. I personally don't like the way it sounds. Anyway, back onto the game. Where are we? Okay, so the Nano Monkey, Frosty gets absolutely demolished, right? So she's just going to get rolled over because the Coalescence isn't going to hit her. She gets landed on by a nanoed monkey, and then she gets Tesla'd down. And if she gets the bubble, then Greedy gets absolutely rolled. So, I don't know, man. That's just a rough situation. I mainly think that our supports are on the wrong side. I don't think our supports need to be stacked up all the way over there. I think our supports in DPS probably should have kind of switched positioning. Let's look at that. Yeah, so our support should be in the back of our composition, even if it is more of a clustered, kind of like Lucio more want to be up close. Our DPS should always be kind of like right behind the tanks or right in front of the supports or something like that. So it's kind of happening right now. Okay, this fade from you, Luna, isn't good. You can just heal him from over here. I think you need to do a better job of understanding the ranges of your support heroes, like Moira and Mercy. They have the same range of 15 meters. Like, you can heal him from this distance. This fade is a wasted fade, and it puts you in poor positioning. Plus, Greedy's always going to want to retreat back towards his spawn and back towards his allies. So you should be playing off that information and, like, staying towards that side so that when he retreats towards you, you can heal him then. But now you guys are split from them. Like, this is just bad support positioning, I think. Now you guys are split from them, and you don't get the beat off in time to save Frosty, which would have been huge because she could have farmed EMP in this fight right here. She's 81%. She's so close to it. She also would have been able to hack the monkey, which would have been probably pretty big. And then Luna dies. Yeah, you guys just go too far to one side right there, and you get pretty much punished for it.
And if you see how I play, like, I go back and forth, like, you know, like the old elevators, but just from side to side.
The old elevators?
In Overwatch, you know, Hollywood, how they go up and down, like, I was going like that, but left to right, left to right.
Oh, so you were strafing.
Well, not really, but yeah.
Like an elevator.
Yeah, like elevator.
Oh my god. Okay, that ante was big because then it stopped Tat from being able to keep Complex alive, which is unfortunate, and that ante is really what secures them the fight right there. But I think it starts with the support positioning there, and investing too far to where the DPS were, not realizing that the DPS had the ability to come back, and wanted to come back towards the team naturally anyway. I think we win this re-engagement. I think this is where you guys told Frosty to EMP. So Frosty, we're going to look at this from your perspective right here because I want to at some point branch off from you and kind of show you where I would have liked you to set up. Actually, right here is probably the spot, but let's start from way back. I want to see your whole pathing. I want to see your whole pathing. Fuck. Alright. So they flipped the point. At this point, you should already be going, but whatever. We'll talk about that more later. Okay, you're getting closer to where I would like you to be. Warmer, warmer, and then you stop for some reason. Okay, so what you should be doing is you should be basically going around here. Just say, fuck the Ana, go behind her. Up here. And then you should just EMP from right here. Like, you just jump off the platform and you're able to EMP from right here. That's really the EMP we want you to try to get off in some capacity, is from around the back, from the high ground, and then just whoever you see, as close and as many as you can get. Like, even if you want the D.Va and the Winston more, then you can EMP from right here, and then you translocate out. But you do not. So let's see what happens. Let's see what actually happens. What transpires.
Oh yeah, what do you think if we went Ana Lucio? You think we could have?
I think the monkey would have fucked you up.
You think so?
Because you're playing, like, okay, so with how you guys are playing right now, so the main concern with Ana, right? And one of the things that you have to be aware of is that she's really, really squishy. So she has to be in dependable sight lines where it's either hard for the enemies to get her or easy for her allies to peel, which means the whole team has to be aware of her positioning and aware of when they need to help, where they can go, where they can't go because of it, right? So I think part of the reason that Moira really works well here is because Moira is so fluid. You don't need to worry about her as much, and we haven't played this map as much. I think in the future, when we can set more of a concrete game plan and say this is where our Ana is going to be positioning, I think Ana Lucio is probably a better bet. Because in this situation, there's the pharmacy, which you can put some shots on and help Greedy out with. There's also the monkey that you can sleep and stuff like that. But the main concern is with how the team is playing. I feel like you're either going to be too close on top of everybody and get cleaved by the Winston, or you're going to be too far and isolated and, like, punished by everybody else on the enemy team, you know?
Because I feel like I would... I don't know. I feel like I would... Yeah, if I went Ana, because then I think I would hit my sleeps in the Pharaoh.
I agree.
Because like I would like notice it and uh then try to go for it or something.
Yeah, I think Ana would be the stronger pick overall against their composition in this context specifically. I just think given that we haven't really played this map before, it would probably be a little bit difficult. So tonight when we do scrims, which I haven't gotten the scrim confirmation yet, which is kind of annoying, but hopefully soon. Tonight when we play scrims, we're going to be trying to play as many of these control as possible. So run what you think will be best, and then when we look at it in VOD reviews, we can start adjusting around those pieces. So if you're like, I think I can get a lot of impact out of Ana here, play Ana, and then we'll adjust around those types of things, you know?
Okay. Well, I think it feels like I feel like it depends on what they're playing, the comp they're playing, and we're playing against too. So
yeah, I would agree.
yeah, we can work on whatever. Yeah. But I have to go now. I have a meeting. Or
Okay.
maybe I'll stay here. I'll be in the meeting at the same time.
No, just go to the meeting.
That's fine. I don't really talk. I have to talk to old people. Yeah.
Fucking boomers, man.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is what the EMP we wind up getting, which wasn't a bad EMP, all things considered, because we do get the soldier and we are able to actually like pressure them down still. But like this is nowhere near as optimal as we could be getting. Even if Frosty had kind of like gotten up here and chilled for a little bit, like let's say if she had been already positioned on the high ground or around the high ground, like once this diva comes up here right now, this is a juicy EMP because she can EMP, and it's risky because she risks the Ana sleeping her, but she can get a juicy EMP like right here or something like that. But you just have to be more aggressive and more willing to get into the enemy team. So you guys use the EMP as kind of a cue to go forward. Stagger kill the diva. Good stagger kill. And you're able to get back in time because you have a Lucio and fast heroes like a Sombra and take high ground positioning. Now, what should you do if the Pharah has Barrage? Well, Frosty, you have an answer to Barrage. It's hack. Largely what you can do is you can just literally hold the hack button down and look all around the sky where she could be coming from, and try to just, you know, get that hack off. You have Bubble, which can block some of the damage, especially if you get it up close to her. You can wind up getting her to kill herself. You have Flashbang and a McCree in general who can flash her if she's close enough to the ground, or just try to dink her in the head. You have a Lucio who's close to B. He's not going to get beat in time, unfortunately. You also almost have Primal, so if Complex is able to identify and hear the jump jet boosters and stuff like that, and then jump at her, he might be able to get Primal and kind of just continue to keep pressure on her and block the damage. You have a few answers. None of them are particularly easy. A lot of them are very situational. But if you want to win, you have to stop this barrage. And you were aware of it. Like, you just have to stop this barrage. We even were aware of the fact that she probably was going to come from under or behind or something like this from over here. So we should largely have a few key people who have their eyes on that back location. And this is the moment they all fucked up. Alright. So, we don't employ any of those options. She does get the double pocket, which is crazy investment on their side, but they're already pretty far in percentage, and they have other ultimates that they're probably going to get soon after that. Yeah, they almost have Primal, they're 70 to bomb, they have ultimates coming up, and they're willing to bet that just by controlling the point alone that they should be able to win. And in the end, it turns out to be right? That we don't actually have a combo on our side that we execute to such a high level as their Nano Valk Barrage. How do I respond? As Lucio? Get beat faster. My washer flooded? I need more context. They canceled the meeting!
Because my supervisor washer flooded.
Well.
How do I respond to this?
Okay, let me know.
Oh no! I hope your washer gets fixed. What?
Just be like, oh, I hope there's not anything permanent or anything like that. Let me know if there's anything you need me to do, or anything that you was urgent that you needed me to know from the meeting, and when you want to meet next or something like that. Just make sure that you still have work. Be slightly nice, and then keep it moving. Because they don't care about your niceness. They have a washer that's flooded, bro.
that was so random. Yeah.
That was a good boot. Complex. Big plays. Big plays. Would have been nice to see you continue to clear off the other people on the high ground, but whatevs. Whatevs.
What do you think?
I don't think.
I feel like. I think I remember saying like we were so focused on getting high ground that we didn't know what else to do. Do you think it would be better if we just went up there and fought like brawl instead of them going to us? Because I feel like if they jumped onto us, it would catch us. Or I don't know, actually, maybe this.
I think part of the problem is that we have a dive
annoying.
composition and we don't know how to run dive. Like we have horrible target selection. We don't have like Frosty's not in this game. She's not really hacking efficiently. Like she's not playing aggressively enough to get the hacks that she has in previous games. So like we don't have any real key opportunities to follow up on, and it depends on us then having excellent target selection and excellent focus fire. And we're not doing that, right? We finally have killed the soldier first when he's a prime target, honestly, if we dive him. Like if we full dive him. We haven't gone after the Ana concisely yet. And when they engage into us, part of the reason that we're losing is because, well, we have to dive into them from the high grounds in order to get value. But instead we're trying to play it like a brawl. Like we're trying to play a dive composition like it's brawl on a high ground. Like we need to be picking out the enemies or the parts of their composition that are weak and vulnerable to dive, and then dismantling them from there. The only reason we need the high ground is so that Greedy can be up here. Like that's it. We just need Greedy up here. And then maybe Genetic too. I do think if we were playing sorry. Yeah.
I think you're right. I don't think we know how to play dive. Like we're playing as if we were playing our what we usually play.
Yeah.
So
because if you're running brawl, then
I think we
you
know
can
how
go
to play
here.
dive. It's just the map. Yeah, right. I don't know.
But if you know how to play dive, then you should know how to play dive on a map. Any map with high ground, you should know how to play dive on a map with that high ground.
I think we're just scared to. I think if you didn't really communicate it, then
maybe. I think it's also a little conceptual. I think you guys have a lack of like you see something and you have like an idea of what you would want to do, but you don't connect what you can do with what you have.
Right.
Like we want to play through the tanks. That's something that we've been trying to push, but then we can't play certain things, you know? Like we have Frost, or we have to just like play and like we have to have Greedy, Luna, you, and Genetic deathballing together, the four of you, and then we have to have Complex and Frosty playing on like their own split section.
Yeah, I think that I kind of let the comms go. I think I should have calmed more probably. Cause I think I let it up to Genetic because he said go high ground and he just went for whatever. Because he was mostly calling out, mostly like the last parts of the maps.
Maybe that might be something that we have to be a little bit more aware of. Is just kind of like what the comm structure really is. Just to not adjust it. I think all in all, our comm structure is getting into a little bit more of a settled place where we have like a good core of like how we do things. But maybe just identifying what the parts are. I think Genetic does make some very key calls, but I don't think he makes calls that are like key holistically for the team. I think Genetic makes a lot of calls that are good for him. If you help him, his calls are really good. Whereas I don't think you make any calls that really help you specifically. I think you make calls that help other people in particular, which each side kind of has its benefits, right? If you listen only to your calls and you start getting pressured down, then it kind of gets a little bit like you calm less about yourself, so it gets difficult to support you if you need that support.
Yeah, I think it's getting down to when he calls out something, everyone has to answer like what's going on because you see he doesn't. I don't think he sees like everything that in the back of us, back of him.
Yeah, because he's playing in front.
At some points. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think he's really good in chaotic situations of keeping track of multiple different things and understanding like when somebody behind him might need a bubble. But it's more so like I know somebody behind me is a squishy and needs a bubble. Like not I know the McCree behind me needs a bubble because he'll have flash and foot. Like it's not like he's not God, right?
Right.
But I think
That
we
was
do
close.
definitely play this map a little bit off. I think we play our composition a little bit off. And I think we can just kind of like work to adjust these things. And I think tonight will be kind of the first step of that, right? Where we're going to go in and we're going to start working on some of these maps and start, figuring out how we want to play them and stuff like that. And then we'll be able to really examine that more in the VOD review the same way we have done with everything else. We'll find which control maps are really ours, which control maps we really need to work on, etc. and so on and so forth. For now, I'm going to stop OBS. Bye-bye, internet people.